this is a big one, and I've asked a project executive that I respected a lot what the answer to this one is, but I'm going to ask you. When you think about the real objective of a project manager, going back to that loop, what is their actual mission, so that we can bring it home for the listeners?
Okay, so the actual mission is
Yeah.
I'd go back to the book by Patrick Lencioni, Five Dysfunctions of a Team, and a quote in there that says, if you could get all of the people in an organisation rowing in the same direction, you could dominate any industry, any market, under any conditions, at any time. If you could get everyone, the PM's job is to get everyone headed in the same direction. If he could do that, you'll build any project under any circumstances, ever gets thrown at you at any time. That's my opinion. In my opinion, that is his number one job.
I love that, and kudos to you for pronouncing his name right. I always get that wrong.
I take a lot of practice to get that right, especially for an
Yeah,
Aussie.
because all right, everybody, welcome out to another episode where Beanie and I are going to talk about the causes of project failure, and this is something that he distilled down from the work of Eliyahu Goldratt from the Theory of Constraints, and it was so good we even added it into the book Elevating Construction General Superintendents as its own chapter. And I love doing these live sessions, and so here we are at it again today. Beanie, how you doing today, my friend?
Good, mate. Yourself? How's things in the US?
Well, I am inside the U.S. doing well. I don't know that we're doing well as a whole, but we're it's interesting. I'll tell you that. But things are going well. Business is great. We are just constantly tact is and lean principles are scaling the industry like wildfire. Big companies are starting to pivot over to it. So much so that we're spending most of our time just making sure that we're helping people do it right. I mean, life is so exciting. And probably the last thing I'll say to answer your question is that we've got 7 of our senior leaders over in Japan with Paul Akers right now, and the stuff that they're sending back is just phenomenal. And as I told you before the show, they're sending back pictures of construction sites that Paul got us on, where the first thing we see from a schedule is the TAC plan right there in Japan, the heart of lean. And I just feel so validated. So life is good. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome, isn't it?
It's good. And I was going to tell you that I'm trying in October to make it to Japan, and then probably Singapore down, and then down to Australia to see you. So I hope that works out in October for me. So yeah, life is good, man.
Looking forward to it, mate. Look, you'll be hitting. That's the perfect time of year to come here, actually. But where I am on the Sunshine Coast, our best weather is from that October period through to Christmas. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Be good. We can do a live podcast in person.
That'd be awesome. And I want you to meet Kevin. I think you'd enjoy it. It'd be fun to see your shop.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm excited about the topic today. So when you think about the cause, like when you researched this topic, and you can intro however you want, but when you
Yep.
researched the topic, what is it about the schedule that can be a cause of failure?
Oh, so I'm going to read this quote from this book this bloke wrote that is really smart, okay? And this one paragraph sums it up perfectly for me. Take all the other stuff aside, Gantt's, tact, all the rest of it. This is the core problem. No schedule is worth the paper that it's printed on unless it gets to the people in the field doing the work as a visual representation of collaborative planning amongst the entire team. I'm yet to see that happen or done well. What about yourself?
Well, yeah. So I was able to. I hate to say this, but because I got a way to redeem myself. I always want to make sure I'm not sounding arrogant. But at DPR, I love DPR construction, and one of the things that I always say, joking around, is it's amazing to work there on your own job. It's a nightmare to be in leadership because you are allowed to do your own thing. And so when I was promoted to a general superintendent, I was like, I can't do this because like nobody will listen. Like there's no consistency whatsoever. But DPR running a project, it was the best experience of my life because I got to do what I want. So on the bioscience research laboratory and then the pharmacy, and a couple of other projects, but we got to get it to where everybody in the worker huddle got to see as a group, know as a group, and act as a group. And I do see it with our clients. Like I'll give you there's two examples. I don't know if I'm going too long here, but Petticoat Schmidt, their people, every one of their 80 plus crews have the plan and a huddle communicated as a collaborative team every single day, and they get input. And in Canada, High Street, every one of their crews, some jobs are like year 3 into their lean journey, some are year 2, year 1. They're year 3 and plus jobs. Every crew has a crew board with the work packages, with the weekly work plan and day plan, and they make adjustments with the crews, and it's remarkable. So it's not widespread to your point, but it is starting
Yeah,
to hold.
yeah,
Was that a good answer? I don't know if I did too
yeah.
long
No,
there.
no. It's that look. You've nailed all the key problems for me in there. Okay, we're just not. We're not getting it to the people doing the work in the field. Most of the time when I go onto a site, the supervisors haven't even got a copy of the schedule. Okay, it's certainly not anywhere. I don't care even if it's a Gantt. Oh, I hate a Gantt chart, and we'll talk about that later on.
Oh, that's fine with
Why we
me.
don't believe it's right. But even a Gantt, even if it's wrong, at least if it's on the wall and everyone's looking at it and we're
Yeah,
going, well, these are the problems with it. We're doing the orca. At least we're pulling it apart and we're trying to head everyone in the same direction, like we are speaking to
yeah,
earlier. You know, it
yeah,
might not be perfect for start. It might be wrong, but at least there's a saying in Alcoholics Anonymous, which is all progress begins with the truth. So
yes,
if the schedule's not right, at least if we got it on the wall and it's visual and everyone's looking at it every single day, we can be flagging those problems up and actually starting to
yeah.
do something about them, and just instead of going, that thing's a piece of crap, just throw it in the corner, don't worry about it, and do whatever you're going to do anyway, which is what
Yeah,
normally happens.
I agree. And just real quick, so that I'm not ever coming off stubborn, I don't mind Gantt charts. I don't mind sequences. I love tact. I don't mind pull plans. The only thing I don't like is the philosophy of CPM of increasing whip, reducing buffers, and hurting people. So like
Yeah,
even if somebody did a respectful CPM schedule, like to your point, that's theory of constraints thinking, right? Is what you're telling me is like if you have something on the wall, you're not shoving it down their throat. Even a bad schedule, they can make it right as a team, right? And
100%.
and and find out the problems.
Yep,
So
yep.
I completely agree with you. I'm just so anybody ever hears us accidentally interrupting each other. There's a delay between here and Australia, so I'm very sorry, Beanie, that I do that. I don't mean to. So
It's hard not to do it, but it's just, it is what it is. But the important bit is that we keep the conversations going, and as I say, we start to identify these issues, and not so much even just identify them, but then do something about them.
I agree. So let me respond if you don't mind to your comment, and hopefully I'm not talking too much here. But I was on with a company. They had a bunch of people, and it's a great company. And I asked, Kate was like, how did it go? And I was like, I got my feathers ruffled. And she was like, what happened? I was like, no, Kate, it was me. I didn't regulate my emotions. I was super polite, but we were talking about work packages. And I made the point that if we're doing the pre-mobilization meet, there's lots of different terms for it, but the meeting before the contractor mobilizes, the meeting once they're there 3 weeks before to make sure that they're clear on expectations. I was like, why don't we make sure that there's a visual? Like we just bring up a notepad, or like Beanie, like you have your whiteboard behind you. Like let's just pull up the information that the crew needs to know, and just make sure that we're in a room and we're like, this is what the crew must know. And then you talk to the owner. Are you good? Inspectors, you good? You good? You good? And then it's like, no, it's on one page. What does the crew need to do? And I made the comment. I was like, I don't think and I'm not being critical, but I don't think it's wise to say crew go start, and then they start and they're like, where are my materials, and where how do I schedule the forklift, and then their contract is in one spot, their inclusions are in another spot, the submittals are over here, the drawings are over here, and like 35 different locations. And I think I hit a nerve because some guy, and I'm sure he meant well, so I'm not criticizing him, but he was like, no, we have it all in Procore, it's all in one spot. I don't believe what you said, Jason, and I that's what triggered me, and I wasn't emotionally regulated at the time, but I was really nice. um, and I was like, so you're telling me that you expect a foreman and workers to go dig into Procore and find those 35 things in different folders. And when you actually find them, filter through the 75 pages of text to pull out the right information. Is this really what we're talking about? And I didn't say it like that. I was super nice. Beanie, you'd be proud of you'd be proud of me. But I was like, they are the king. Like they are the value added entities that we work for. Like we work to support them. Why would I not want to give them something? Not give them, work with them to develop something that's very simple and visual. And it's just the concept. It reeked of, oh, I told him. No, it's on the server. Oh, it's
Yep.
in your contract. Like, what are we doing? The only I'm not going to talk too much more, but like a project engineer is like your only job is to
Hmm.
enable the trades to start, build, and finish. Like, so I don't care if it's on Procore. I care if it's visual for them to
Yep.
see. And I think that's at the heart of what you're talking about. So
Yep.
when you say, has it been implemented? No, but I actually think it would be really easy. It's just here.
Yep.
So
100%.
I'd love to know what you think about it.
I think the whole thing comes back to, and I'll draw a little drawing here because gives a real quick visual of how this works. This is something I stole off Keith Cunningham, right? And he said, when we try to separate the problem from the symptom, we look at the bottom line is our reality line, where we currently are. Okay?
Okay.
Up here is our ought line. We ought to be doing a lot better than what we are currently doing.
Yeah.
We look at the gap between here and there, and we call them the problems. Look, it's on Procore. No one looks at it.
Yep.
We've got a Gantt. No one follows it. We call those the problems, all those sorts of things. They're not the
Yep.
problem. They're symptoms of the real problem. To
Oh,
find the
yeah.
problem, we've got to dig deeper. The Japanese use 5Y or whatever it is. The problem sits back here. And this is my theory on what the real problem is. And it's driven by one word: ego.
There you
We
go.
love
Yeah.
complex, right? We love being the smartest person in the room. We're programmed from an early age in school, or even your parents. When you did something good,
Mm-hmm.
what did they say? Oh, that's so clever. You're so
Yeah.
clever. How did you work that out at school? It was like, who can get the right answer?
Yep.
Not who can produce the best result, who can give us the best outcome, who can ask the best question. All comes back to that, man. I believe that one word there is the only reason why the Gantt chart survived as long as it has.
Yeah.
Because you look at Gantt complex, people love complex. Oh, I can understand it, Gantt, this predecessor, successor, all this nonsense. And we go, no, we just wanted to flow.
Yeah.
We just need blocks. When do they start? When do they finish? And what they need to do their block. That there, and I've heard Paul Akers talk to this before. He talked to one of the owners of, I think it was one of the Toyota execs. And he
Mm.
said to him, when Chrysler and Nissan and all these other people come here, he said, what do they think? And he goes, Paul, smart people can't believe it can be so simple.
Yeah.
They take the term simplicity and we complicate it again. And if you listen to Eli Goldblatt, he goes, it won't work unless it's simple.
Yeah. Complexity is the enemy of execution, right?
Hmm.
When you listen to Keith Cunningham, have you ever seen? Did you see him through Tony Robbins, or was it an independent thing that he was doing?
He's actually works with another a podcast that I listened to for years and years called I Love
Uh,
Marketing, and the guy that runs that, Joe Polish, has got a thing called Genius Network. So it was through
the
Genius
genius.
Network videos. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because in Business Mastery for Tony Robbins, he has Keith Cunningham come on, and he is a riot. I love
Yeah,
that
man.
guy so much. I thought of when you pointed to the flow diagram over there. I was just thinking, without flow, it'd be like asking a red blood cell in your body to be in your finger, in your leg, in your brain, at your heart, and in three or four other places all at once.
Yep.
No, we just want it to flow in a single pattern away from the heart and then deliver the value and then right back. Um, and then, the reason I brought up Tony Robbins and Keith Cunningham is because Tony Robbins always talks about there's four basic human needs. I don't know if you've heard this before. You probably have a better pattern for it, but he says humans need certainty, significance, love and connection, and variety at times. And
Yep.
the two spiritual needs, 5 and 6, are growth and contribution. And
Yep.
when humans are too focused on the first four, which are like basic egoic needs, certainty and significance, they actually don't get what they need as humans, like because you can't force people to give you certainty and significance. But if you focus more on growth and contribution, you can live a healthier lifestyle, right? That's like Eckhart Tolle, being present. And it makes sense. What I'm understanding from what you're saying is that, like, if something's complex and I know it, and I'm either the knowledge subject matter expert, or I'm the university professor, which I don't have a problem with, or I'm the guy or the gal, and no one else can understand it, like, that puts me on an egoic pedestal, right? Like, I have significance now, and I
Hmm.
have job security. So
Yep.
actually, human beings from a survival standpoint are incentivized to egoically stop the simple, is what I'm hearing you say. And I just think that's a brilliant concept. I've never thought about that before. I've never seen that before.
Yep. And when we're the expert because of the ego, guess what happens next? We come to the point that everything's got to go through. So we've just
Oh
killed
yeah.
flow. Okay? We've just created it. We have become the bottleneck. That's driving so many of our problems. That one word, just there. When we have
And
to have all the answers, when we have to be right all the time, when we have to be the loudest person in the meeting all the time,
yeah.
that's killing that flow.
The the other thing I thought of is, like, when you have to go through a single person or a paywall, like, you hide when people hide that information, right? It stops that
Yep.
progress. And I'm sure you are you gonna would you also, between the reality and the, I don't know what the word is. It's the, what's the target line? Uh, the
You got
bottom line is
reality and
reality.
then ought. That's what we ought to be able
Oh,
to do. We know we should be able
ought
to do
to.
better. Yeah.
And between those two lines is the orca, right?
Yep.
Like, you solving that as a team. So
Yep.
I I should just shut up, but I'm so excited about this, Benny. I got to tell you what just happened to me 2 days ago.
Cool.
I asked the team for help. There's a lot of people out on PTO in our company. I asked the team for help, and I kind of came at them like, I need help, like, kind of, like that. And a couple of folks on the overall company chat, there's like 85 people, 90 people in there, were like pushing back. They were like, well, is that, oh, you'd be so proud of this. They were like, is it rules of flow? Like, we don't really have the capacity. Let's not pull another project in because ask them to memorize it. And I just felt like they were telling me no. And I was like, all right, like, I was just like getting that way. And then one of the ladies on the chat taught me something. She texted me individually. She was like, probably feels, Jason, like we're pushing back, but we're just doing what you taught us to protect our team and protect the client, and we're just bringing up things. And if I'm hearing you right, tying to your story, my ego was like, just do it. But they're telling me the truth. No, Jason, we don't have the capacity. And then when she texted me, I got it, and I was like, okay, all right, I'll trust you. And then instead of being all toxic like I used to be, I hopped in and I was like, team, thank you for doing this. Does anybody have any ideas? And I went the vulnerable way, not because of me. I just want everybody to know, because of her and her teaching me. And then as soon as they were like, oh, I spoke up, is it safe? Then they started speaking up more, and we solved the
More.
problem together.
Yep.
Is that anything like what you're talking about?
100%. Because you're not the bottleneck anymore, right? You're letting it flow. You're letting everyone have their input, like you said. It's not worth the paper it's printed on unless it's a visual representation of collaborative planning.
Yeah.
That's what you've allowed to happen, is collaborative planning. Instead of the top down, which is why I've changed the word, and I spoke to you this about before, not project management, it's project delivery. Because
Project
project
delivery.
management's top down, trying to force it down from the top. Project delivery is support from the bottom up. Our role is a support role. It is not to sit at the top and force it down. When we support, you get what you've got happening.
So, so I don't. I'm. Okay. Well, this is good. We've switched all the language, Vaney, from project management to project delivery in all the books. So I don't know if you
Cool.
if you've noticed that,
Love that.
but so I love that. I love the model, and I find myself still. This is a dead question. I have no idea what the
Yep.
answer is. I still find myself having. I'm a recovering classical business management leader.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to be a lean leader. But what freaks me out is when I lose control.
Yep.
Why? I haven't thought about it. Do you have any insight? Like why is that so hard for us? Why is it so
That
hard
word
to
again.
because
That that
oh
word.
because the
We're
ego?
worried about the failure that's going to happen, or what the uncertainty is, and what's going to go wrong.
Oh
Okay, so we
yeah.
tell ourselves all these stories about, oh, if I don't do it, schedule will fall behind, and if I'm not running around chasing everyone every 3 minutes, it's not going to happen. We have to let go of that and realise that some stuff's going to fail. It's not going to be perfect, but we've got to get to a point where we can only, while you're chasing around, while you're making
Yeah.
sure everything's perfect, there's only you're the constraint in the system. There's only so fast that the system can move because everything's got to go through you.
Yeah.
So you can actually get a better result, even though you'll get failures, and you will, a better result by removing yourself as a constraint. Always be asking yourself, am I the constraint? And what's my real fear here of what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Then you go back to Keith Cunningham, right? Our mate, Keith, this book, Bodless Stupid.
I love
He's
that
got
book.
three killer questions in there for risk management. What's the upside? What's the downside? If the downside
Hmm.
happens, can I live with it? That's all you
Yeah.
need to do, man. When you're in that spot and you go, oh, what's the worst that could possibly happen there, which is never, ever as bad as what we think it is.
Yeah.
So someone fails. If they do fail, what happens? Oh, we'll fix it anyway. So
Yeah.
play on.
It's not a big deal. You
Yeah.
know, the other thing that I never realized that I just learned. It's so funny what we learn in these
Mm.
episodes. Damn it! I just oh no, I got it. Is like if we're controlling, it's like okay, fine, I'm in control, but if it f's up, I'm gonna fix it myself. And what I just realized from what you're saying is like if it's a collaborative plan like you're talking about, and it's our plan, then when something goes wrong, which you already said isn't as bad as we think it's going to be,
Yeah.
then we have the whole team to lean in and fix it together. And
Exactly.
and what can't we solve together? That's
Yep.
such a brilliant concept. I just learned that just now. That's awesome.
Cool. One caveat around this, right? If someone's doing something reckless and it needs to stop, they're going to hurt
Hmm.
themselves.
Yeah.
That's out the window, right? We stop it because we've seen it, done it, got enough experience. But that's
Mhm.
rarely the case. Most of what we're dealing with is just if something does go wrong, the impact and the consequences are minimal. And it's actually going to improve us moving forward because that person's going to learn from it and they're going to do a better job next time. And we're going to
Yeah.
move even quicker because you don't have to deal with that next time. They know how to do it. It's the
Yeah.
same way you and I learn. How did you learn? We learned by getting out in the paddock and doing it.
Yeah.
We got some stuff wrong, a lot of it.
Yeah, 100%. And even if somebody, I'm not, even if somebody was yelling, they were doing more coaching and helping us than we think. Like we think we figured it all out, but
Yep,
actually we got a lot of coaching and help, you know?
we did.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so I agree. No,
Well,
that's a brilliant concept. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
all the talk about coaching, all the rest of it these days, it's flavour of the month at the moment, I suppose. We got better coaching, well, I did, 30 years ago, from the guys that were actually been around, done it for years. They used to train
Hmm.
us better, used to coach us better, used to show us stuff better.
Yep.
than what we do now.
Yeah, I
There was
agree. I
more emphasis on it back then. I'm not saying their techniques were the best, but there was more emphasis on passing the knowledge on and making sure stuff was getting done right. Oh,
yeah, I
that we
agree.
were learning. We're learning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and the other thing is, and I'm not complaining with this. I'm literally just trying to figure it out. But I, I keep coming back to, which is why I love the stuff you're doing with school and the social media. Ever since day one, when I saw you, when I first started seeing you do it, I think it all comes back to education.
Yep.
Y- you know, like um, at least in the U.S. and I love my country. I'm not trying to be negative, but like we fundamentally don't care about the workers
Yep.
as an industry. And like there's two things that are a nightmare. Most jobs are it's pretty easy to convince people to do the foreman huddle. It's harder to convince them to do it the day before, but I won't talk about that now. But the two hardest things are the morning worker huddle, where we're creating that social group and getting the information all the way to the crews on the crew board. And literally,
Yep.
the guy today was like, "Oh, I don't think crews need to be hauling around information from zone to zone, and it's in Procore anyway, and they don't need." Whoa, hold on, what? They can carry two by fours and pipe, but they can't carry a visual board. What the? Okay, I'm not gonna say that on a live stream, but I think it comes back to this fundamental, like if we honor and love and respect, which is something you talk about all the time, the worker, and see them, and not as a triangle like this. I think you've said this actually before, but you see it like this,
Hmm.
then it becomes clear. No, the only thing I should be doing is getting it to that level. So
Yep.
I think when we fix the respect and the training thing and stop just throwing people out there, it's one thing to go to the paddock with a mentor or a coach. It's another thing to just be thrown out there by yourself, and that's fine sometimes, but not all the time. And yeah, I think training and respect for people would do a lot to get people in that mindset that you're talking about.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We just see school as the time that we learn and then we go to work, and it's not the way it is. Okay. It
Yeah,
should have just been setting us up to learn for the rest of our lives. It's
yeah,
that's its real purpose, is to do that, is to create. There's a great book by the All Blacks, which are a famous New Zealand rugby union team, right? They've
yep,
been the best for years after years after year, and one of the things is create a learning environment. They you read the book, it's basically lean just as written about football, but
oh,
that
that's awesome.
learning environment is absolutely crucial for what we need to do, particularly if we want to get rid of this and remove ourselves as the bottleneck, the problem.
What I see when I see that is that no one is smart. Well, no, none of us is as smart as all of us. And
Yep.
once we get rid, what I'm hearing from you is once we get rid of that ego, we own the gap. There's actually a lean book called "Own the Gap." Own the gap. Now we're going
Mm-hmm.
to solve this as a team through visual environments
Yep.
that is a representation of full collaboration. I love it. Absolutely
Yep.
phenomenal. Any closing message as we close this out? Like maybe the thing that's on my mind is the concept is very clear. You've made the concept very clear. Maybe what's one thing that you've seen that would be a challenge for the folks to implement this?
Selling that simplicity. To me, the tack plan is the tool that we need to get to. We need to get rid of the Gantt, which is not an easy sell because we're so conditioned to it, so used to it, everybody wants it. Selling simplicity is the hard bit. And the more people that we do, this is something that happens step by step from the people at the workplace down. If you're leading hand, you're on the tools, whatever, I don't care. Draw it on a bit of paper. This is
Yeah,
where our crew's heading this week. Get yourself some texters and highlighters, some coloured pens. Block your week
yeah,
out. Do it yourself.
yeah,
Don't wait for the likes of Jason or myself, the superintendent, the project manager, the construction manager, whatever. If you want to improve yourself, and what's going on your site, do it yourself. Learn to see waste, where your non-value added activity is. There's tons of videos online. Jason's got a mile of them on his YouTube channel. Learn what waste is and how to increase flow. Don't
Yeah.
wait for someone else's permission to fix it. Start fixing it yourself.
And start bringing problems to the surface so we can fix it together as a team.
Yep.
Because to your point, oh my gosh, this is a perfect little thing. A realization is that like the I don't know if you said it or somebody else said it today, but it's the Mike Tyson quote. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yep.
I think it's better. I'd rather get punched in the face as a team than by myself.
Yep.
And I'd rather clear the way for the plan as a team than by myself. And I'd rather go and get everything back into flow as a team than by myself. And
100%.
that's really the heart of the message. Well, this is fantastic. What's our next topic? Do you know off the top of your head? I don't want to catch you off guard here.
Oh, you have
But
caught me off guard. I forget that. Hang on. We'll pull the book down.
I'm so
Go the
sorry, Dan.
Bible.
I, I, I
Skills of team members.
oh my gosh, that's a perfect segue. That's a perfect
Yep.
segue, 100%. Um,
Yep.
so I'm going to go do 2 weeks of boot camp. Send
Yep.
as many pictures and things like that. When I get back on March, I'll look forward to the next one. But everybody, this is Beanie. This has been so fun. Everybody, I hope you're enjoying these videos, and stay tuned for the next one. And like we always say, on we go.
Thanks, mate. We'll speak soon.